Good day from Finland, Vertex headquarters. Let's wait for a couple of minutes so that we can get all the attendees to this short webinar about material reports from Vertex BIM model. Today we are talking about and showing you quite basic stuff, what is almost also most of the stuff is available on our knowledge base. We'll have a look also there how you can use it and how you can find it. But let's wait a little bit. Seems to be that most of the people are already joined. After the webinar, or probably even during, you can ask questions to type, and after the webinar I can try to answer your questions. Hopefully you don't ask too difficult ones, but let's see. Okay, I think now there starts to be most of the people already on board. So let's start. So today we are talking about material reports from Vertex BIM model. What we are talking today, how to make your own Excel reports. We have a look at our knowledge base, web pages, then how to edit those. That seems to be more important one. Also, we go through a little bit our knowledge page, web pages, because there is a good presentation there. Then we check during Excel reports. I'll go through also a little bit about the XML file structure, what Vertex is producing, the BIM model, which is pretty much same as the BIM model. Then we go, when we are doing the Excel reports, we go a little bit through about the search rules and how to test them. And then we have a look, couple of examples, other examples what we have made, and that's the content of this webinar. There will be a short survey after the webinar. Answers would be greatly appreciated. You can affect the content of the future webinars. And by the way, today there's talking Heikki Hassinen and also Juho Kausiala from Vertex Finland. Forgot that in the beginning. And then we do a little bit show here. Let's go first to the knowledge base. You can find most of this information from kb.vertex.fi web pages, and might come as a Finnish, but looking for English documentation, you get this page. And today we go here and administration, customizing, and Excel reports. There are two pages. First one is how to create your own Excel report, your own template. pretty simple system I show you in a little while. Then the more important one is the structure of an Excel template. And we go through this a little more thoroughly. Okay. And we go this through as we do some stuff there. Okay, so let's start. I have here a very simple Vertex BD project, one wall which is framed. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to collect these Vertex BIM headers to an Excel report, just very simple one. So how we are doing that? We are going to the System tab and Excel lists. Okay. I have already earlier created my own reports, so that's why it gave me an error message. Let's see if I can create a new library. Heikki's reports, for example. It's a folder name, so no wild characters or spaces there. It creates actually your own. But now, of course, it didn't create. Let me start again. Let's try again. A typical demo effect. People forget to start a program after doing something. Let's wait a little while. Okay, now we got this one. And let's start again. Excel lists. And no error messages again. Create new library. So I told you no funny stuff here. Own reports, for example. And priority number, something small, so it goes to the, hopefully, almost to the top of the list. Almost to the top of the list. And we don't start from scratch usually. So we like to copy one of the existing ones, which might be close enough. So, for example, profiles by panels. I copy this to my own Excel reports and paste it there. Okay. It goes to the structural selection group kind of folder there. And now I say that Kerto profiles by panels, for example, description of the report. And the file, what it creates is, for example, KP profile report, English, XLS. Template file, what is used or now created, and the language, if you are doing multilingual reports, is selected here, or template can be used in different languages. So we are using English. Okay, now it's there. And usually I close it and open it again, so it's really saved to my custom folder. So let's open this one. Okay, so this template, what I copied, does have a multiple sheets. So I delete not that one. Delete unnecessary sheets like that. And then I, for example, rename this. For example, like this. Okay. Then we have a look about the content of this Excel report. And for that, I have a look about the knowledge page information here. First, at the top, there is kind of header area where is like a common information or project information where this Excel report is coming from. Then there is like a data area where the actual report is written, and at the bottom there is just a sheet name. Okay. Then let's have a look about the data area. Or let's make first changes to this header part. For example, let's make here that these are Kerto panel profiles. And in Finnish also same stuff. Okay. Of course, there is project ID, date, customer name, building name, that kind of information pulled from the project data card. We'll have a look at that in a while. First, there is how many data areas there are. There is currently only one range. And then there's a definition for how long the page is going to be. All these are defined in that KB pages here. Then we have a look that what is actually collected or printed from the built-in information model, like a search criteria here in A part. It says range definition row. And then there is kind of header area or fields which are collected from the BIM model, and then there is a data area where that data comes. And last, there is a summary area where necessary fields are calculated together. Data range definition row, here is what keywords can be used in that field. And there are a couple of examples here. And example 1, 2, and 3. And I noticed that there is already very close one here. Can I use basically already almost that one? So we go here. We are grouping those by code. So all the same codes are calculated together, which don't have any differences in these fields. Sort by length, and the order can be descending or ascending, and that can be defined separately there. So element group. I could even delete that away, but I could do that because there is no grouping needed there. So, let's try. Oh, delete it already. So let's pick here. Frame pieces, attributes, what this stuff is. And when I put here something like this, what is this? That might need, by the way, one of those. Okay. This is the search criteria, which is picking the stuff from the building information model. And where that comes from? That comes from if you are doing any existing reports. For example, trusses. I do trusses. I don't have any trusses, but I don't mind. It creates here under your project comes a components XML. I think I have it already open here. Yes. And you can open it to the, I prefer some kind of text editor. It depends where you have associated this XML file. I have associated it to the notepad. Okay. There are different kind of tags here where the information is stored, and always it's in between the attributes fields of tags. So what we are looking is, if we go deeper, elements, wall element, walls, wall text, attributes, plane structures, layer structure, struct layers. No, we are not looking sheeting. Under the frame, maybe we might be finding our Kertobeam header. So let's try to find. Don't remember, is it KB or? Yes, seems to be. I'm using that kind of header in my wall. But instead of code, I'm using math code to search. For example, code also could be used. So I'm using math code should be containing, was it care? Yes. Okay, now I could try this, but let's try and learn a little bit about, on these pages there are this testing capability, a link where you can test these search functionalities. So I have it open already here, and go to this kind of codebeautify.org, and I browse my project wall. This project was wall, and I find there my components XML and open it here. Please notify that do not try to browse and include here a huge components XML. This page doesn't work if the file is big. Then I test that if this is working or not. Like that, and test. Okay, and seems to be working. So you can test this rule already beforehand. Okay, so this basically should be working. Okay. Oh, there came that trust report, which I did earlier. Let's save this. And so can we, okay. Then what we are pulling from that fields or from that Kerto-BIM, what information would we like to get? Of course, code, which is here, is coming to their auto count, so it calculates how many pieces automatically. Then there is weight. Is there any? Doesn't seem to be. So it leaves that empty. Length, of course, that comes. And that's pretty much it what currently is. If you want something else to be collected here, for example, piece type or STR type, or from what kind of structure is it coming from, you can just copy and paste it here. Of course, it needs some kind of explanation that what this is telling you. So then I copy, for example, from there and paste it there and type the piece type, for example. Let's put a capital there. Okay. And then we can give a try. Unfortunately, I have to close this because it seems to be that this webinar program doesn't allow me to open multiple Excels at the same time. So let's go to output, Excel lists, and on report and Kerto profiles. Now they are not coming by panels. Okay, now we have Kerto-BIM 45 times 200 piece type there, 2 pieces of these, but there was no weight, so it didn't calculate the weight and total linear meters of these Kerto-BIM. So this works quite nicely. Then there will be, of course, questions that can we get more information in here? Usually these are, or they are hard-coded, but in some materials you can affect what is collected to here, but it's very limited what can be added there. You could ask our local support team that could this information or some information be collected to these materials, but it is very limited. Okay, let's have a look about that template more closely. It already works, but let's see how it's actually built more in deeply. We went already through here. Okay, where these and how these are defined. You have to go to the Excel in formulas and name manager. And this is where these informations are defined. There are print area and titles. Then there are those project data card information. Those project data card fields are also here. If you click, for example, that one and click here, bottom here, it defines that where it goes, that information. Same also to the other fields. For example, range 1. Click there and you click here, and you can define that it is defined here. Usually there is range 1, but there can be multiple ranges. We will have a look about those examples. Then there is columns. I would say that columns or kind of header is defined. If you want to have multiple columns, then you just, for example, delete that away and you paint if I want to have 2 more. And that's how you get extra 2 fields here. Same thing you have to do to the rest of these. Probably now I don't want to break that down, so I define just same as there was. Okay, columns. Then okay. Then there is the data. Where is that defined? So this is the data area where the data is coming. Then there is a group header, which is not defined in this sheet. It's kind of empty. And then last, there is a summary part here at the bottom. Okay, so if you want to have more columns, then you just define summary, data, and columns, stretch those a little bit longer, and then you can have more fields. So this is the story behind of the name manager and how you use this. And if you have multiple ranges, you just create a new, for example, range 2 and define where it starts from. Okay, let's do a next one, more simple example. Let's start from the, for example, copy the architectural side. Copy and my own reports and paste. And I want to collect, for example, rooms. Currently there isn't any this kind of example. Rooms report. And I go like that just to make sure that it is saved. Okay, and then let's open it. Again, there are multiple pages, so I go and delete the rest of the which I don't need. Yep. And let's change this, for example, rooms. And then we do again change this. No, I delete that one. And I give also finish if I ever need, like that. Okay, one information there. Let's see how I have an example report or project, not a report, but project here, where I have a couple of rooms. And I have already collected some profiles here, so I can open this one and have a look what is the content of this components XML, the BIM model. So rooms are here or can be found from under tag rooms, room, and attributes of the room. And this is the default information what is collected: room, bomb face, ceiling area, code, opening area, opening perimeter, room. I don't know why the code and there is a room different, looks like same content. Then there is a room area, room perimeter, and window area available. To my knowledge, there isn't anything that would be extra information available at currently. Okay, so maybe we group by code and order. If there are multiple, maybe I use, where was it there? Maybe I define by the room area. They are sorted by room area, like that. Okay, so where we are not using that, we are using rooms/room. So rooms, room, attributes. There we can find it, the information. And that's okay. Then I'm okay, I use code. Yeah. Then I home face. I could even try directly their home face that tells the floor. Auto count calculates how many rooms. Oh, there is no definitely any frame thickness, so I don't need that header either. And pull that zeros also away. No length center. So maybe I use the room area for that. And I change the description also. Something like that. No height. Of course, I could collect those perimeters and things like that. Just copy and paste that information here. And then, no, that one. But I might want to summary if there are multiple same size of the rooms. And here is a calculation rule. Multiply quantity times area, and looks to be there was divided by 1000, but in this case I don't need divided by 1000, like that. So then we save this and give a try if it works. Have to close it, unfortunately, and then we go to the output Excel lists and already in rooms, and we say okay, and hopefully yes, we got a nice Excel. Oh, there was one extra character there, which we could fix in that header. But otherwise, seems to be pretty nice and what we were looking for. What else was there on this table or this web page? Those examples were there. Let's scroll it down. We went through this name manager, how we define these, data definition, header definition we didn't use in these reports. Summary was there already and it's defined here. Data from project database or data card. Some system values you can use if want. Was there anything? No, nothing major. One good thing or one hint would be that quite useful, have used that quite sometimes, is this protect. You can use this also, or this was the result, but we could use that also in a template. Also, let's put it here. Oh, like that. So that leaves this Excel sheet open so you can modify it directly when you are creating it. So now you can start to type in directly here if you need to do some extra stuff. Then a couple of examples what we have made for a few customers. Panel profiles. You can guess it that this was made for one of the or some Finnish customer. So this basically does the same thing, collects the Kerto profiles, but the next sheet not contains Kerto. So this collects everything else. Also it collects something else, but then there are sheeting or wools, insulation, and some of the sheets which contains probably mineral wool. Can't see because there is this other stuff on my screen. Then there are sheets, contains, for example, OSB and things like that. This is for roof covers. Something contains PVC or things like that. And then there are items that belong to each roof panel are collected here. So you can have multiple search rules if they are divided by this vertical line. So that was quite simple example. Then there is, for example, very simple example to pull information from the panels itself. This is for roof panels, but could be done for the wall panels. So it collects, of course, information, is it a roof or wall panel, the ID of the panel, and then the dimensions of the panel area, net area of the panels, then calculates how many of these panels, exactly same kind of there are. And is there any rules here? No, these are empty. Extra info, you can type there something, for example, for the production or factory information. So quite simple example that. Then some information here, little more advanced stuff. For some of this might be a little bit familiar because it contains Sweden. Yttervägg means the main frame of the exterior walls. So what are collected there? Wall element attributes. Item ID contains Yttervägg, which means exterior wall. the code of the panel. And sorted by item ID and what there is. This is usually quite long, so you have to scroll manually. Maybe here. And it collects, what was it, frame pieces. And this says that pick up from the higher level from the frame that the layer number is 0, which is the layer number of the main frame. So no other frame pieces are collected. And then there are another page for interior walls, a little bit same kind stuff, and lots of other stuff here also. Then there is this kind of where there are multiple ranges. 1, 2, 3, and 4 ranges. And then they are just underneath each other. So this sheet collects lots of stuff from different locations to same sheet. And you can see interior walls, IV means interior walls, frame pieces that contains plate and some other stuff. Next one, subframe contains something text is coming here. Seems to be that all these has the same fields, but if, for example, you are collecting to some of these, for example, sheeting, then there is no length. You just put here, for example, area or what other fields there are available and you want to collect. So as you can see, quite a lot of is quite common is this contains text or not contain text. That's quite widely used. I think we have done these kind of, for example, if somebody wants to create this kind of manual Excel file, which can be then stored to the CSV format and can be read to the some ERP system also directly. So these are used quite often in that kind of cases. And if we have a look about the name manager here, because this was a little bit more complicated, there are just range 1 is that one, range 2 is defined there, and each is underneath the previous one. So quite simple stuff. Okay, I think that is what we were planning to show you today. If you have any questions, now you may ask, and there is already. Somebody is asking if I got time wrong and came in late. Will I get access to this recording? Yes, of course. And I'll tell you where you can find it a little bit later. And if you have any other questions, please type in Gerard is asking, is it possible to use named fields in summary area? Basically, I think he is asking, I'm not 100% sure, but can we use any named fields in this area? To my knowledge, no. To this question is there comes quite a lot of questions. Let me try to answer. So like you saw, this affects to this area, and summary is just calculating these values together like normal Excel report. So this summary is reserved just for calculating these together. For example, what there is in these fields. If there would be like a length, I could calculate it by just typing it like that, or actually it would be more like sum like this. Oh, where it copied. So it would be something like this. So this is just reserved for summary calculation. Somebody is asking, are Excel files come in built or to be downloaded? These default Excel files, which are used, this one, structural, these structural, architectural, these comes already with the installation package. They come as a default. Is it possible to collect data if a profile has a reduction or bevel some sort? Basically, yes. You can get to the profile. Let's have this profile. You can get here information that about the shape of the profile. Is it a rectangular or is it something else? That is kind of extra collection fields which can be added to the system settings. Unfortunately, I don't have time to show it, but the shape information can be collected. Also, the notch information and quantity of the notches can be collected here. I know that. So can be collected, and then they can be differentiated from each other. Then there is a long question. What is the easiest way to collect every pieces in the project and sort them by type, like a material list which gives only one line per material type sums up how many meters per type? That's a difficult one, because if you use any different fields, let me open my Kerto, for example. If there are, for example, different length of the pieces, they come as a separate line here. But you cannot calculate summary without length. So it's kind of chicken and egg problem. So to my knowledge, at this moment, I don't know how to do it. So basically, then I would just use this summary field to calculate same kind of code fields together. Where do we need to access the XML coding information? Is it available in Vertex Information tab? The actual this question is related to this. There is no exact definition what's the content or how this is structured. There is no exact description about that. Easiest way is you to draw what you want and collect or run Excel report and see what kind of structure it creates. For example, this my one wall. You can see how the wall element is going to be, or the pieces in the wall element are defined. There isn't any specification of this kind of structure. Unfortunately, this structure doesn't change. It is kind of hard-coded and it doesn't change very rarely. And if there is a very important reason, there might come a change, but usually we inform our customers that there are this kind of change. And usually there are no changes. Can it collect additional linear materials too? Yes, it can. There is additional materials. Where were they? Here, additional linear or area material, and they come to that component section. Very simple, I think. Okay, there is nothing, but let me run some list. That don't collect anything, but this was updated. No rooms, wall joints, walls, openings. Extra materials. They came with that fence, there came some multiple extra materials. So they seem to be directly under extra materials, extra material, and that kind of attributes, which can be defined in system tab, what is collected with those. Is it possible to make Excel output for different batches in one project? I'm not 100% sure what that means. So you are basically, if you have one building and another building, so unfortunately they are all coming to same components XML, so not really to the different, but you could use this one, define a module, which actually sets information, for example, to this building. Name, module name, and apartment label. So you can then differentiate those. That information comes to the material takeoff and to that BIM model, and then you can differentiate that in Excel reports. That could be used for that purpose. To build my own Excel sheet report, any examples, templates in Vertex Online to help me? Of course, we can provide some extra webinar or extra training for customers which require, but this is one good or hopefully a good webinar that shows you the basic ideas. You can read the definitions also from here, these KB pages. There was this information how to create those Excel. So copy the existing one and rename it, and then start to modify the structure. Can we use this for minimum waste? Unfortunately, I think not, because that minimum waste cutting is going through that old material report stuff, which is using the stock length database information. And here, when we are pulling the information directly from that BIM model, we don't have that stock length database available. So that seems to be probably the case. So if you are using minimum waste, then you have to do the old way in output and these reports. Okay, thank you for all participating this. Was there something else? I think I had. Yes, where you can find these webinars. You can find these from YouTube. And if you search or find this Vertex BD building design software page, this webinar should come there, and hopefully in future also some other webinars. And please answer to that survey after this webinar, so you can affect what we might be talking about and showing in future. Also, instructions and videos can be found from the kb.vertex.fi pages. And thank you for everybody for participating, and we are soon starting here summer holidays, so hopefully you are having summer holidays also somewhere. You seem to be all participating from all over the world. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.